Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Today we're going to be covering BeyondTrust product called Remote Support. And for this use case, we're going to be covering Mac endpoints and we're going to be installing what's called a jump client on this Mac Mini specifically and walking through a couple of features. First, I'd like to take a look at an architecture diagram that shows our BeyondTrust remote support product here, and we deploy it either in our BeyondTrust cloud or you can deploy it as a virtual appliance or a physical appliance within your internal network. So how it works is a vendor, a guest technician, a support tech, a support representative, they're going to access our appliance that's either hosted in our cloud or internal in your organization, and they're going to access this via outbound 443. And once they access that URL, they're able to see all the jump clients or jump points down here that they would have available to access. And today we're going to be using what's called a jump client, and we're going to be accessing a Mac Mini. I also wanted to cover a couple of quick other items on this diagram. You also see here we have our enterprise credential management as well as a vault system. We can securely store credentials in our password safe solution for your jump clients and jump points so your end user representative doesn't ever have to even know that password. They can inject it into those sessions securely. Now we're looking at our remote support desktop console. And as you can see here, I have a couple of systems that I'm able to connect to, as well as available sessions that are in the queue. And up top, I have my Vault Accounts tab, accounts that I can access and check out if I need to. But I'm connected already to my Mac Mini here, 001. And as you can see, I'm running VMware Fusion, and I have a couple of test Macs here, Mac 17, 18, and 20, that we're going to be using for our demonstration purposes today. So here's that Mac Mini in a larger view. As you can see, here's the VMware Fusion, and we're going to be working on this Mac 20 system specifically. So here I'm logged in to my cloud-hosted remote support solution, eflood.beyondtrustcloud.com. And I have a web interface as an administrator, and I can come in here and see a lot of features, but primarily I'm looking to get over to what's called the jump client. And so here you see I have a couple of options. I'm going to make sure my jump client tab is selected, as well as from this drop down, I'm going to select my servers jump group. I'm just going to make them install good for a while here. And any other settings we don't really need to change. I do like to check this box here, start customer client minimize when the session started. But after that's all set, I'll hit create here, and what's it going to do? It's going to send me to a page where I can download my platform. And since we're targeting a Mac in this use case, I'm going to download the Mac OS manual execution for this, and we're just going to hit download. And so as you see here, it popped a file in my downloads folder. And to install, I'm going to simply double click it and follow the prompts to complete the install. And it will prompt for credentials. Now once it's installed, it'll ask you to open the system preferences. We're going to go ahead and do that. And there's a couple of system settings here we're going to have to change and allow them access to as well. So we're going to go ahead and unlock it. Type in our admin password again to unlock. And we're going to check this box here for remote support customer client. It's going to ask us to quit and reopen. Go ahead and do that. Give it a second to load there. And after that, if you scroll down, you can see that setting was for screen recording that we enabled for the Mac 20. So now we'll want to jump back over to our remote support console and try to connect. Here you see I have a new system show up, Mac 20. Just going to go ahead and double click it to open it up. And there's a couple of system requirements we still have to complete. You see here it's asking for the accessibility setting. We're going to go ahead back to the end user to enable this setting. So jumping back over to that end user, they're able to select grant access. And we'll unlock the settings pane with our administrative credentials. Check the box next to Remote Support Customer Client. Go back to the action required list, and there's one final one, full disk access. We're going to go ahead and hit grant access there, which will take us back to the security and privacy settings, and we'll just need to find the remote support client under full disk access and check that one as well. It'll ask to quit and reopen. Go ahead and do that. And after it reopens, we can jump back to the Mac 20 System tab that we have open, and that remote support user can now fully control that console session. Now I'm logged out, but I'm still connected to the Mac 20 system. You see it's showing online in my desktop remote support console. And if I want to log into one of these sessions for the Mac 20, it's interactive now, so I'm fully connected. I'm able to punch in my credentials. And so now we have full screen sharing and control with BeyondTrust remote support. And I'm just going to go through, you can open up system preferences, open up Finder, look at the applications, do whatever that administrator needs to do. But I wanted to go through a couple of features at the top here specifically for screen sharing. Of course, stop and start screen sharing, toggle the control of your customer's Windows or mouse or keyboard or mouse. Annotations, we can say if you only have view only mode, which we can enable in a policy, you can come in here and that end user is sharing and you can highlight specific areas on where you want them to click in that session. Go ahead and clear that. Of course, shutdown and reboot. Another great feature is called canned scripts and applications. So in this drop down, we have a lot of options here, and it'll just pretty much quick start applications for you. So quick start the console, that'll open up the console on the end user, open up quick start the terminal. Let's quick start applications, quick start activity monitor, and you can customize this on the back end, as well as customize any kind of canned scripts that you want to add for Linux, Windows, and Mac as well. So here I have a couple ones that I'll get to in another video around our endpoint privilege management tool that I installed through remote support as well. But it's pretty simple, basic ones like flushing the DNS for your Mac. You go ahead and select that one. It'll confirm that you want to run this script, and it'll go ahead and execute that on that endpoint host. And looking what that looks like from a administrative perspective, we're just going to sign in from an admin console, and that's under rep console canned scripts here. And you see what the one we ran here is this flush DNS for Mac, and it's pretty easy. You just come in here and put whatever type of script that you want to run, and if you tested on completed your testing already, you can come in here and paste it and make it an easy one-click run from our BeyondTrust remote support tool. Wrapping up some of the tool features for our session sharing. Of course, you can take a screenshot full access to the clipboard if you're copying and pasting to and from the end user system. Selecting if that user has multiple displays, you can select a specific display to view. Adjusting the resolution, sort of scaling, sizing, as well as automatically adjusting it. Best performance if you're in an area where there's not the best connectivity, there's a lossless connection at a very low latency. Full screen, of course, as well. And here on this far side, you'll see all of our chat options. So, of course, the end user has a full chat and messages that they can save and prepare to chat with their end user or live chat. But you can also transfer the representative session back into the queue, send it to another member, escalate it to another team member, or even remove customers or additional third parties that you invited to join. You can also remove them as well. But wanted to go through these tabs real quickly. Of course, the file transfer is very useful, a way to remotely transfer files over from your local system. If I wanted to copy in system over to, say, my downloads folder, I'll just say, hey, let's send Firefox over to my remote system. And just like any file transfer protocol, you'll see the progress there at the bottom. I'm just going to open up my downloads on this remote system. And there you see the Firefox file is transferring. And once that completes, it'll show the proper extension. Firefox DMG. So not only do we have screen sharing and file transfer, but we also have a command shell access that runs as root on the local system. So you can see here, if I run a who am I command, I am a sudo root. And you have all that accessibility if you don't want to interrupt that end user. There's a command you wanted to run on the back end, a lot of functionality for your remote users there as well. Last tab is called System Information. Now there's a ton of info in here, as you can see from a general perspective, an overview. We have our storage, the power, the network, Ethernet, processes. These tabs are all able to collect information from that endpoint to not only help you diagnose what might be the potential cause, but also help you learn some additional information about your system that you might not have known. So here under software, you can see what applications have been installed, what processes are being run at that time, the ability to end those processes from here as well. See what hardware is available on that system, hardware overview, processors, memory, a lot of hardware, UUID and serial number, which can be useful for a lot of scripting. The storage on that system as well, network config, the network sockets, and even the logs. So our remote support client, installing it on that Mac system, provides a lot of functionality remotely for your help desk, or you're just a system administrator looking to get to that system and run some program or do some type of video editing. If you have any further questions or want to learn more, please go to BeyondTrust.com. You can also reach BeyondTrust by going to support.beyondtrust.com and submitting a support case.